Smokin' Tobacco's coverage of the 2023 PCA Trade Show and Convention is brought to you by Drew Estate, the rebirth of cigars.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Michael Herklotz.
Just kidding.
That's okay. I like playing jokes with you. What's going on, buddy?
What's happening?
It's happening.
It's
day
PCA.
two.
It's
PCA day two.
Which in PCA years is like day 40.
I feel like I've already been here for a week. And then last year,
yes,
I got married at the show.
Yes.
So I did come in really early.
Yes.
So by the time the show did happen, I felt like I'd been here for a month.
And plus, it was a bloodbath, and we all got COVID.
My wife did.
Yeah, I was completely knocked out.
Yep.
But worth it. Totally worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Totally worth it.
I'd
do it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
We probably have it again this year. There's just no tests, so who cares?
It's still early. It hasn't kicked in yet.
That's true. That's true. No symptoms yet. Everyone's asymptomatic. What are we talking about? Let's talk cigars. Can we talk cigars?
Yeah, we can talk cigars. Ferio Tego, this is year 3. Year 2 with cigars on display, if I'm being fair.
That's true.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
That first year,
great.
You killed it, though. You had nothing to show, but you killed it.
We had hugs and stories, and that was it.
Yeah.
Tremendous show.
So,
it's actually harder now with product.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Way more pressure. That was great. There was no expectations.
So this is your second anniversary?
It's our second PCA. We started shipping in October of 2021.
Okay, that's what it is.
So we're like 20 months, something like that, in market.
In first 20 months, how are we feeling so far? Let's do a little quick check-in with the...
I feel great, man. Yeah. I really feel great. I was actually talking to Bear about this yesterday because I distinctly remember you and Coop having a conversation about Ferio, and you were equal parts totally stoked and excited for us, as well as skeptical that we would be able to pull off the restoration of Timeless and Metropolitan. And not that you didn't think it was possible, but I think you said something to the effect of, that has to go right for this to work. Mm-hmm. And you said that you hoped it would, but I remember you posited that as, but if it doesn't, there's going to be a problem. And that has resonated with me from the moment I heard you mention it, because you're right, those stakes are super high.
Right.
We can get Ferio Tego right, but if we don't put those brands and blends back better than they were, we have a real serious problem.
Yeah.
So we have. Like, now I can tell you, when we look at the success of the last 2 years, of course, Ferio Tego is doing great and moving and selling, and people have really embraced the Elegancia and Generoso story. But now adding a core line like Suma, and then having that halo above Timeless and Metropolitan, people see those blends and they are associating them with Ferio Tego. It clearly is working as a Ferio Tego story moving forward,
right.
And it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is when you look at the consumers, right? All the consumers who smoke Nat Sherman, Timeless Metropolitan when it was under Nat Sherman, right? And then you obviously had your story, you bring them back and all this. The guys who were smoking the Nat Sherman stuff every day, like, I smoke Timeless Supreme every day. It was like, when you switch it over, if it's not the same, you could lose that customer.
And look, truth be told, there were a handful of people that reached out directly and said, this is not the same.
Really?
And they can't possibly be exactly the same. It was 3 years later, all the tobaccos were different. We had to take the opportunity to say, how do we make these the best they've ever been? So I use the analogy all the time. It's like remastering your favorite album from the 70s.
Yeah.
If we're going to reissue it, we're not reissuing it on vinyl and listening to it on a turntable from 1962 with a shitty mono speaker. You're gonna listen to it on your iPhone with Beats headphones. And the only way to get that to work is to take the original session and remaster it so that everything is the same, but the levels are modified in a way that make it relevant to listen to today. And that's what we did with some of that stuff. We took out Volato, we took out the bottom primings. So Metropolitan Connecticut, for example, tastes exactly the way it tasted before, but without the Volato, it feels a little more relevant. It feels like it has more New World body than a blend from 1995. So people are smoking it who smoked it in the 90s and say this is delicious, but people are also discovering it as a new release and it doesn't taste old and dusty. It tastes new and relevant and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the little details you have to make along the way that maybe doesn't change the entire world, but it keeps things fresh. It keeps them interesting, and
It's not press release worthy.
little stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, and you have to do that. And
Yeah.
everything you do, and every manufacturer, I'm sure, does it every day. Of course, you're adding a core line now, a Ferio Tego core line, not a legacy brand.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about this and then the inspiration behind it.
So this blend has been in the works since we started working on Elegancia and Generoso and all that. So going back into 2020,
Yep.
this was one of the blends that we've been playing with. It's a blend I loved. It was just a blend that was far more emotional and needed a lot of tweaking and playing.
Yep.
Of course, there was always an intention to do a core line, but we also wanted to be really thoughtful about how much we release at once, because depending on where you were with Timeless and Metropolitan in the past, we launched 42 SKUs in 45 days. It's a little aggressive.
It is.
So we wanted to make sure that we were thoughtful about Ferio and brought a core line when it was appropriate. Now that we've been in market 20 months, it was definitely time to release a core. So this is traditional core in the sense that it's made ongoing throughout the year as demand requires with regular productions, preserving the blend and replicating the blend with every production, right? So like Timeless, like Metro, like the majority of brands in this room. Elegancia and Generoso we make once annually. So a slight departure from the traditional Ferio Tego approach. So Suma, 4 sizes, made in Dominican with the Quesada family. Filler is Dominican and Nicaragua. Binder is Ecuador, Sumatra, and wrapper is Ecuador, Corojo.
Oh, nice.
So that double Ecuador influence, it really adds this almost like silky viscosity kind of mouthfeel. And then you add, it's a pretty heavy Nicaragua influence in the filler that brings all that chocolate, coffee, espresso, leather thing that Nicaragua does.
Right.
You add that with the Dominican and then this double Ecuador, and it really comes across as almost fudgy, almost dessert-like. It's just creamy and dense and full, but the flavors certainly skew to the dark side, not necessarily the lighter, whiter side.
Right,
but
yeah.
it's absolutely delicious. You have one in your pocket.
I do. I got one.
I am so excited for this. It's already in stock. We've already started shipping. We started shipping last week. So it's been a great success so far, and I'm really pumped to bring it to market.
Now, in terms of the Elegancia and Generoso, those will continue to come out annually.
Absolutely. One size, packed in humidors,
Yep.
6x50. The 2022s are in market now. The 2023s will release a little bit later this year. Made once annually. When they're gone, they're gone. So that does not change at all. This is purely to add a core to help add more strength and visibility to the total Ferio Tego brand.
Yeah, and I think the boxes and the bands, that the Ferio Tego branding, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's classic, it's clean, but it also has this. The word that comes to mind, but I don't like it, is regal look to it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's nice. It's got a nice, strong presentation. I think it looks great on the shelves.
And I think it's a brand that when you look at, you can feel.
Yeah.
And I think of the great brands, it's a brand that you can recognize, that's distinct, that's clear, and that it makes you feel something. Maybe that's just because I own it and so I'm biased, but
a lot more emotional connection to it.
That's fair enough. I feel something. That's what I meant to say.
It's
a brand that makes me feel something, and hopefully you feel something too.
It definitely exudes luxury.
Great. But you know what? Here's the other thing. I mean, that word gets tossed around all the time, and I think it's so overused, and honestly, it's being overplayed, because this idea that luxury equals expensive hurts my feelings. And I think that luxury is actually value. It has to be worth every bit, but there has to be some value. This is at $18 to $22. I think we're punching way over our weight. So I'll go with luxury.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see you, Michael.
You as well.
Love talking to you at the trade show.
Likewise. Love to your wife. Congrats on everything. Appreciate all you guys. Ferio Tego.
All right, guys, stay tuned for more coverage from PCA 2023, brought to you by Drew Estate. Take care.